lecture in the new year. So thank you, sir, for accepting the lecture
Thank you, sir.
on the pandemic and the maritime industry. So this is jointly organized by Tiruchirappalli Local Center of the Institution of Engineers India and the Tamil Nadu State Center. So Engineer Rangaraju, Senior Faculty Member, GKM Institute of Marine Science and Technology, Chennai, will deliver the lecture on pandemic and maritime industry. So with this, I join with Engineer Selvaraj in welcoming all for today's lecture. Thank you, sir. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Kumaresan. I welcome our Swamidas sir, past chairman of Iei Tlc local center, to introduce the speaker to the audience. Over to Swamidas sir.
Good evening, everybody.
Yes.
I'm happy to introduce Engineer Er.S.Rengaraju, who graduated from Coimbatore Institute of Technology. He is a BE mechanical graduate, passed out in the year 1976. After working in some industries like Atreya Engineering Industries, Bombay, Nuwood Private Industry, Ambattur, etc., he went on to obtain his Class 1 Marine Engineer certificate from Maritime Port Authority of Singapore through Singapore Polytechnic in the year 1998. Now he is pursuing his PhD on a research on wave engineering. He has been awarded Eminent Engineer by Institution of Engineers during a 30th National Convention of Marine Engineers. He has got a vast marine experience of 28 years in sea as well as shore. He with various, he has traveled with various crew and officers from various countries. He has traveled and sailed in various types of ships like general cargo, bulk carrier, overbulk oil carrier, etc. He has served as a visiting civil engineer superintendent, managing Chinese officers and crew attending like cargo, crane breakdowns, etc. He has got a teaching experience of about 13 years now. Earlier, he was a professor and HOD in AMET University, Chennai, up to 2019. Now, he is a senior faculty member. Huh? Hello? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please proceed.
Now he is working as a senior faculty member in GKM Institute of Marine Science and Technology, Chennai. He is a member of. He was a member of Academic Council of AMET University. He is a fellow member of Institution of Marine Engineers, fellow member of the Institution of Engineers India, life member of National Safety Council, life member of Automobile Association South India. He has visited to academic institutions in city of Glasgow, UK, South
College,
Singapore Marine Academy, Singapore. He has conducted a lot of faculty development program in the area of marine engineering to the faculty members of AMET University. With this brief introduction, I request Engineer Rengaraj to take up his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Good evening to all of you, sir.
Very good evening to you.
Good evening, sir. Very good evening, sir.
Good evening.
It is my pleasure to conduct a lecture on behalf of Iei Tlc branch, and on top of it, this is the first lecture of the year 2020. We hopefully have a wonderful year in the future, and wish you all happy New Year, as well as have a prosperous New Year and a healthy and safe New Year. And thank you. So we'll go ahead with our session, sir. I'll switch on my the presentation. Can I go ahead, sir?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. Today's our topic is the topic of the year 2020. So it's a pandemic year with the COVID-19, which created this pandemic and troubling all of us, not only us, including human, animals, and plants, everything for the whole world. We are at really very distinct competitive situation, and we have to face and tackle this in a better ways to for the best team of our life and progress. So this pandemic and maritime industry, it is a very vital this field, because the maritime industry is one of the very important, very essential industry for the globe to have all the this thing, transportation of goods and other things, so that everybody can live peacefully. So to that agenda of our this thing is, why is maritime industry essential in pandemic times, and we will be discussing about that. How has the pandemic impacted maritime? And IMO, International Maritime Organization, it designation of seafarers as key workers, because it's required. People who were not aware of about seafarers and the maritime field. So how important, how crucial requirement that has to be designated. That is what that IMO has done it, and we will see couple of current issues which are involved in this pandemic situation, and then to take it way forward for the future, aligned pandemic response. To start with, Directorate General of Shipping, they have given guidelines with the COVID-19 response instructions to all the ports as well as ships to follow. Aftermath of pandemic, some potential implications. This pandemic has created lot of implications. Some of the potential implications we will be going through in this session. Priority action areas in preparation for post COVID-19 pandemic world. So, what are the priority actions? We will go with that. So, to start with, why is maritime industry essential in pandemic times? Our complex global supply system would grind to a halt without them. So, as merchant ships transport about 90% of global trade by volume, from food and medical goods to energy and raw materials, and many more. In 2018, world seaborne trade volumes rose to an all-time high of 11 billion tons. So you can see that picture. It is indicating all the continents in the world, how they progress. The blue marking is showing goods loaded, cargo loaded, and the light green marking gives you the cargo discharged in various in this globe. put together all over the globe. So for North America, you can see it is almost similar cargo loading and discharging. Whereas South America, cargo loading, because they have got a lot of resources to send it out. Like you can see in the Australia also. So in Australia, it's full of blue only. The export is more. So these two countries they expect put most of the in a higher percentage, whereas the discharging, unloading, taking, receiving goods from outside, they are all very less comparatively. So you can see then the Europe again. Europe cargo unloaded is little higher than the goods loaded discharged. They also got a good resources. Whereas Africa, there is also got a good resources. That is why it is a little higher than the goods received by the African continent. And whereas the China plays a crucial role, and you can see that graph that it is showing very high cargo unloader because many countries sending cargo to China. So that whatever resources they have, it is comparatively lesser than the cargo received. Whereas in India, if you talk about India, so you can see on the right side, the gross Indian shipping tonnage amounted to 12.7 million gross tons, while the number of vessels was operating was 1419 in September. This was taken in September 2019. Out of this, 456 vessels play on the overseas routes. They go outside India, and it is more than one third. India is the 16th largest shipping nation globally on the basis of merchant fleet size, number of ships involved. So in that, it ranks 16th. And if we see this, how has the pandemic impacted maritime? It impacted the economy. So the table you can see the world economic growth between 2018 and 2021. This table shows the change in percentage alone. It is not showing the full volume. So to analyze the growth, the change in volume percentage gives a fair idea for us. So if we talk about the globe world trade, it is between 2001 to 2008 it was 3.6, whereas in 2018 3.1 it dropped down. 2019 2.5, again it dropped down, and this 2020 was figure was estimated figure. I have not received the actual figure, so I displayed in this chart. It is displayed estimation. So for 20 and 21, they shows estimation. Due to the pandemic, that change is going on the negative side with the minus 4.5. That's the change. You can see that drop, how badly it dropped down. And similarly, developed countries, if you take 2001 to 2018, it is 2.3. It is kind of maintaining. Whereas 2019 it dropped down to 1.8, and then 2020 estimated figure it gone much more, minus 5.48, and 2021 expected growth the change is 3.1. Whereas developing countries, you see the average, it was very high, 2001 to 2008, it increased very high, and then it started dropping down. and 2020 it is minus 2.1, and the expected growth in 2021 is 5.7. A lot of scopes are there. And similarly, if we see India, where we stand, in 2001 to 2008, the growth rate is 7.6 percent change. From 2001 to 8, it is 7.6 percentage increase. Whereas 2018, 6.8, 2019, 4.2, and 2020, it dropped down much more. It is the highest compared to all these, minus 5.9. And the expected growth in 2021 should be 3.9. And you can see that graph on the side showing the development of international maritime trade and global output from 2006 to 2020, annual percentage change. So you can see the graph. The blue one gives the gross domestic product growths, and the right side, the red one shows the world seaborne trade growth. So you see, the 2019 suddenly it dropped down very much to minus 4 point and odd, and again it has picked up in 2010 and gone to 7%, approximately 7%, and then it's slowly dropping down. And whereas there was a slight increase in the 2017, again it dropped down to more than minus 4 in 2020 because of this pandemic. Now we'll see how has the pandemic impacted maritime. The maritime trade and port cargo traffic. Based on that, in 2019, so you can see seaborne trade growth, maritime trade stalled with plus 0.5%, and in 2018 it was below 2.8%, and lowest level since 2008 to 2009 in the downturn. The volumes reached is at 11.08 billion tons. If we take the container traffic, which is growing very fast, growth in global traffic is plus 2%, down from 5.1% in 2018. So minus 5.1 to it is gone to with the plus 2%. So if you talk about the number of quantity of containers it can handle in ports worldwide, it is 811.2 million TEU. Container it is measured. Container is measured with the TEU with the length of the container 20 feet. So that is why it is in that unit it is measured. And the right hand side is the world map is there. You can see impact of trade tensions, especially in United States and China. So trade trade tensions and policy uncertainty undermine growth in maritime trade. So trade diversion and rerouting has taken place. So this gives a picture of the maritime trade and the cargo traffic. And how has the pandemic impacted in maritime in 2020? So COVID-19 created disruption. All of us are aware of it. And risk assessment and management key to the future-proof supply chains and maritime transport. That is a one disruption. And existential questions for globalization. The lot of questions coming out regarding globalization at this COVID-19 disruption. Supply chain and trade face dual shock, supply and demand. So there is no certainty. Uncertainty creates this dual shock. And shock waves through supply chains, shipping, and ports. So not only supply chains, shipping also. The vessel where when it reaches the port, when it departs, where it goes, it's all put uh, in a drastic situation for the shipping companies, because they have to search for the cargo and they have to look after the staff and all the other things. The operational difficulties. And similarly in ports, which are the ports? Ports, it is not the way of normal ports handling and discharging. And now people are all locked down at home. Who will come and work? So, on top of these sort of things, on top of it, there is people are feared. Ships is coming on to the port. The people who are on board, whether they are infected, all those things. Because similarly, vice versa, the ship staff scared to move with the source personals, and it all happens. That's the real concern. And international maritime trade projected to fall by 4.1% in 2020 because of all these disruptions. And looking ahead, international maritime trade projected to recover and expanded by 4.8% in 2021. So that is the expectation, 4.8% change in growth. How has the pandemic impacted maritime? Since the coronavirus crisis began, as many as 1 in 6 of the 1 million crew on 60,000 cargo ships at sea have been marooned. So, apart from the seafarers, number of ships really is enormous, huge, and the people who are involved in crewing these ships are about more than a million. As of mid June 2020, as many as 300,000 seafarers a month needed international flights to enable the changeover of crews. So, the maximum, this is the one industry where the maximum number of people use the international flights to transport, the purpose of transportation. According to IMO and the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, this is the figure. Half of those have been stuck on ships. So we have seen that 300,000 seafarers. Okay. So half of those have been stuck on ships in some cases for 15 months, whereas the maximum permissible time to work on board is 11 months under the ILO 2006 Maritime Labor Convention. Of course, we all know as a seafarers, so there are contract basis 4 months, 6 months, 9 months are there. But whereas the maximum is 11 months, we all said in those days 18 months and all to fulfill our sea time for giving the competency examinations. So that is the case. The other half are waiting to embark. So 50% is held up in onboard ship, 50% ready to join ship. As they only earn money at sea, because generally at sea seafarers, most of the seafarers they earn money only at sea, not at shore. So then are struggling to feed their families because of the drop in the income, change in the income. So designation of seafarers as key workers by the International Maritime Organization, and many member states ratified and approved for designating the seafarers as a key workers. The list is given in the box. India is also among them, and in this list I don't find China. However, seafarer designation as key worker, why? Necessity, because it's essential. Transportation of essential goods, key for economic and staple requirements. So the requirement also there, economic growth also there. Supply systems and the global economic recovery are also at stake. So not only global economic recovery, supply system also at stake. As shipping is the lifeblood of the global economy, transporting 90% of the global trade. That is the reason it is very essential for economics, global economic. Inflexibility. Industry cannot work from home. Now in the shore, in the land, everybody is working from home. Even now, this meeting is also happening from sitting from home, not in the institution office, auditorium. Normally, we used to meet in the institution auditorium, but now it is happening in this pandemic situation, working from home. But whereas for seafarers, the it is not possible. Crew changes on merchant ships have been stopped for months, putting those on board at risk of depression and injury, which is creating a very high percentage of stress to the seafarer community. So this is the IMO circular letter which was designating the seafarers as a key workers, and uh, that I just wanted to show the thing, and we'll see in this picture. You can see in the Changi airport to board the flight back home to India during a crew change in Singapore on 12th June. So the current issues are standard seafarers in China and other parts of the world. The main thing is country where people are standard mode is China. They are not having much of hope, and they are not able to understand what will happen. That is the case compared to other parts of the world. Put step down. So getting down from the ship is a many ports banned crew getting down from the ship in that country. They don't want to avoid any virus getting transferred by getting down and going out to shore. Repatriation transport. This is another big question. Repatriation transport. It is not available in many places. People even in the halfway, people are got trapped, and they are not able to move further, and these such things have happened. And there was an incident in one of my friend. He is a superintendent in a company. His colleague went to a ship for inspection, and he was held up. He could not come get down, so he has to sail on the ship. So without any preparation, he went there. He was not prepared to sail on the ship. He just went for a day and do his work and come back. But the thing is, it so happened, so he couldn't come out. So that so he has to say. So he sailed as a additional chief engineer, and stayed. Had to stay for more than 15 days before he came home. So there is such incidents, and many seafarers they have gone, and then their contracts have been extended. So all those things are happening. And then in addition to this, quarantine regulations at different countries affecting crew signing off and signing on. So this all of you are all aware of the quarantine regulation says 14 days have to be quarantined either both ways. So this has really affected the crews signing off and signing on. Standard seafarers in China and other parts of the world. Some of the clippings from the newspapers, and this is really a humanitarian crisis, and not only humanitarian crisis, it's regarding safety crisis also for the seafarer. And ban on Chinese flyers. The airlines ask authorities to give these things in writing. So a lot of new these things have come out to handle that things. Yeah, few airlines have asked the authorities to give them something in writing, so they can cite a reason for denying board to Chinese nationals. That has happened. Almost 1,500 Indian seafarers are stranded in various Chinese ports because China is refusing to allow them on shore or even to change crew. They can't even come back home. China suspended entry of foreigners from some countries, that includes India, in early November due to the pandemic. China's decision came after 20 passengers on Air India Delhi Wuhan flight on October 30th tested positive, and another 40 on had a COVID antibodies. So this is many places. This is on a few examples, and many places, many countries, they are facing problems. Hong Kong suspends airlines for 14 days if five or more passengers on a flight test positive. It has so far barred Air India four times and Vistara once. And this seafarers getting stuck in Chinese ports, they are really very much stressed. You can understand. Uh, Sailors stranded for months as China refuses to let ships unload Australian coal. Not only signing off, this the unloading of coal, which is from Australian port, that also has created a lockdown for the seafarer on board ship. Cranes unloading coal from a cargo ship at Lianyang port in China in August. Crews on some ships carrying Australian coal have been stranded in Chinese ports for months. The crew appear to be caught in the middle of geopolitical feud with hundreds of millions of dollars of paid for coal hanging in the balance. Untangling who or what company is responsible for giving the vessels the green light to leave is difficult. But in the meantime, an estimated 1,400 seafarers are believed to be stranded, according to Australia's Maritime Union, and the crew's health is apparently deteriorating, really, with too much of stress. Repatriation transport crew changes in Singapore, Manila, Singapore seafarer safe corridor preparation in progress. This is news is from on December 3rd, and they're preparing for the seafarer signing off and signing on. And Sri Lanka offshore crew transit hub gains traction. Sri Lanka also coming taking interest to signing off crews for to the nearby countries. Charters account of preventing crew change. The main people who are seems to be accused is charters. Seafarers has to travel different ports without choice. So, like what I said, that chief superintendent we had to travel. Similarly, seafarers also had to travel different ports. Difficulty in getting provisions on time. Provisions, you see that the provision is the daily bread. If otherwise people have to starve, they find it difficult. On time sign off, major shipping companies staff sign off and sign on. And the seafarers who are at home, they are worried about joining ships because of the delayed income. So even in the store, many companies they are not paying in time, or they are paying very less wages. Similar things are happening on board ships also, ship staff also, and they are finding it. They have to face this crunch. Extension of service period beyond 11 months. So that is again happening. Support services, medical support on board, welfare, food and essentials, ship services, fuel and stores. So this is the you can see German cryogenic firm developed COVID-19 vaccine container solution for this pandemic situation to face the help the people and health sector. And Qatar, this is another news. And Qatar International Airport, Hamad, they created a mariner lounge in the airport for the because a lot of transit passengers are moving around, so they need to place for spending time. They cannot just hang around carrying the luggage all over. So this is another this thing. UN agencies finds governments in breach of international law are just quick fix to the crew change crisis. So this is another approach for indicating the breach for the crew change. Just a moment. Next. And there's a latest development, and drones come to the rescue in COVID battle at sea. The first transportation of rapid COVID tests for seafarers using drones. In Greece, in the port of LFCCs, using a project drone with a kit of rapid COVID-19 tests for 20 persons. It was carried out. The vessel was anchored 2 nautical miles away from the port. The distance was successfully covered within 4 minutes without physical interference of the human element. This full scale test paved way to remotely deliver COVID 19 test kits and vaccines to thousands of seafarers. This option of mobilizing drone technology should be properly considered to meet the logistical challenges of the world faces as it combats COVID 19. Regarding welfare, food, and essentials, you see that people have written on the ship side, help us, no food, they are no salary, they are desperate. Then you can imagine the stress they are going through. And another factor is crew abandonment. This world map is detailing, giving details in rising incidents of crew abandonment. Despite efforts of local authorities in recent years, the United Arab Emirates remains the number one spot for abandoned ships. The UAE accounts for 12% of the global total, the one of the highest. In terms of nationalities, Indian seafarers have suffered the greatest number of abandonment cases, followed by their Ukrainian counterpart. So, Indian seafarers are uh, very high in, in this regard. Local port support. Unclear procedure for interaction with port officials and pilots. Cargo loading and offloading of perishable goods. Maintenance of maritime machineries. Local port support. You can see the picture on the right hand side. In the Arctic area, people are how the people had to go on board the ship, and the bottom picture shows the dry docking. Impact. These are all the impact on ship operation. Compulsory reporting of pre-arrival of crew health, extra paperwork leading to operational delays. Pilotage service delays in many ports. So how the pilot will reach the ships, and they are also under lockdown many places. Statutory requirements are lagging. Renewal of certificates, it is getting delayed. So many governments they give extension for renewal of certificates certain for certain with the certain criteria. Dry docking and repair services, they are all dropped down. And repair services, repair staff or repair spare parts, all those things in getting involved and creating a problem for the maritime industry. Authorities reduced activities. So, due to lockdown, authorities' activities also reduced, curtailed, unnecessary movement. They want to restrict and safeguard themselves. Surveys are not able to complete in time. That is another field where, due to this lockdown, surveyors are not available and for inspections, and due to all these problems. Aligned pandemic response, the way forward. So, for example, Directorate General of Shipping, it's given COVID-19 response instruction. with the DGS order, and it is for the ports as well as all vessels. It is a 30 about 35 page order, and the annex I wanted to highlight you regarding health authorities. So these are all for the how health authorities to handle mooring operations and pilot ladders, and how the pilot has to be protected with the protection suit, mooring boat and mooring gang to provided with the personal protective equipment, and gangway to be kept in race condition at all times. No person to be permitted on board without specific permission from the port authorities. All personnel boarding vessels for cargo operations shall uh, wear full body protection suits. Also, they have to use the personal protective equipment, and that they have, whatever they use, it has to be disposed of in appropriate procedure of the protocol. Vessel staff assisting in cargo operations to also to have to wear full body protection suit and maintain a safe distance of at least 6 feet. Vessel to sanitize and disinfect after the completion of the cargo operation. These are the points taken out from the order. Aftermath of pandemic, potential implications. So, pandemic will have a lasting impact on maritime transport and trade, as we have seen so many things. The following five key trends in maritime transport and trade will be part of pandemic legacy. One is the regionalization of trade. Globalization that started during post 2008 financial crisis may decelerate further, and the regionalization of trade is likely to gain momentum. Technology and digitalization. This pandemic has shown terms of technological uptake are better to able to weather the storm. For example, e-commerce and online platforms, blockchain solutions, IT-enabled third-party logistics. Already, we are taking classes online. Similarly, schools and other colleges also, other field also. Not only that, officers also they are online. They are all working. Continued shifts in consumer spending and behavior. Further rise in online shopping in the post-COVID 19 era. Requirement for more customized goods. These will promote shorter supply chains through though the use of 3D printing and robotics. It will also trigger more demand for warehousing and space for stocking cargo, and risk assessment to integrate considerations such as global interlinkages and interdependencies, like intertwined supply chains and financial channels. Reconfiguration of supply chains. Some shipping lines such as MERS and port operators such as DP World have been taking greater interest in business opportunities through inland logistics. The aim is to be closer to the shippers and emerge as reliable end-to-end logistic service providers. Also, authorities at international maritime passages such as Panama Canal are already assessing the options on how to ensure preparedness in this pandemic situation. Priority areas in preparation for post COVID-19 pandemic world. Economic recovery. To support economies on their path to recovery, especially developing countries that are more fiscally constrained to support their medical and social response to the pandemic. Limit trade inhibitors, trade tensions, protectionism, export restrictions, particularly for essential goods in times of crisis, should be limited. Non tariff measures, other trade barriers should be addressed by stepping up trade facilitation measures and customs automation. Reshape globalization for sustainability and resilience. Strategies should find ways in which unsustainable globalization patterns can be mitigated to generate more value. The next is strengthening international cooperation. Pandemic is a litmus test not only for globalization but for global solidarity as well as. Impacts of the pandemic on global supply chains will require strengthened and coordinated with global cooperation and action. Shipping and ports planning strategy, port capacity, shipping network configuration, vessels and capacity deployment needs reassessment. Avoiding short-sighted policies. While pandemic has been an overriding theme throughout 2020 and probably for years or decades to come, other important and potentially disruptive global issues should not be overlooked. Example, climate change is at risk of being pushed to the back burner. Momentum on current efforts to address carbon emissions from shipping and ongoing energy transition away from fossil fuels should be maintained, enabling greater uptake technology. Digitalization efforts should enable enhanced efficiencies and productivity in transport, such as smart ports and shipping. Developing countries will need support to minimize this technology divide and ensure that they can also exploit the advantages of digitalization to build their resilience. For maritime transport to play its role in linking global economies and supply chains, it should invest in technology and adopt solutions that meet the needs of the supply chain of the future. So, this many of you might have come across this Swiss cheese model, hazards of accidents and incidents, and infection. So, barriers. So, if you organizational factor, unsafe supervision, preconditions, unsafe acts. If you remove, then infection can be contained. And since we have to go a long way with this pandemic situation for the development in this 2021, and we should continuously follow this protection, how the COVID virus spreads, and how protecting yourself and others by maintaining 1 meter gap and washing and all those things. So by way of distancing, you can restrict this infection. So with this, I think we are coming to the end of the session, and thank you. And this is my telephone number and email ID, and you can, if you are interested, you can communicate. If thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful lecture.
Right. I will come
So,
on.
participants, if you have any clarification, you can unmute and ask.
Sir, I am Murugesh Pandian from Osur Local Center, Conrad Local Center.
Hello, sir.
Please show me the slide again. This is Swiss cheese model.
Which model?
The Swiss cheese model.
Yeah, sure.
Show me.
Thank
Put
you.
down the points.
Okay.
The session is nice.
Thank you, sir.
Last but one.
Yeah. Actually, it is a reminder for all of us. That is why I put this. It is in the safety, this thing. Just included the infection along with the accidents and the incidents. So,
Okay, thank
you, sir.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, Jim Gondax.
Sir, Rengaraju sir.
Yes, sir. Sorry,
Yes, sir, it was a very good
over.
session. We can understand how much seafarers are suffering from the COVID and this is how the recovery path and all. What is the plan for future, sir?
Plan for future, we have to regularize this seafarers signing on, signing off, and then that is why this key workers this thing is given, so that they can be, unless without seafarers, it is very difficult to manage the cargo and economy. As you have seen, 90% of the global cargo is transformed through the ships. So naturally, these things have to be taken care of, and seafarers' welfare has to be taken care of, and new avenues like digitalization and other things, 3D and other things we have to take care of. Regarding fuel, fossil fuel, we are slowly getting rid of it, and new type of fuels we are trying to bring it in. So all those sort of developments has to take place.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Rengaraj. Very nice.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Very nice lecture.
Okay.
I think today's scenario has been put.
Yeah, that's what that's why I chose this topic mainly, because all the other topics, technical lecture, we keep giving all the time. So this is something awareness creating,
No,
Many
because,
awareness creating
many
situation.
people should understand what is the seafarer's life.
Life,
Of
yes.
course,
Yeah.
even normal days they are facing a lot of problems, but
Um,
this pandemic situation is a
yeah.
great this thing they are facing. Problems are they are facing.
Yeah. Highly
Some
stressed.
in Chinese port, 2 ships are waiting for 7 months. The
Yeah.
7 months, the people are on board the vessel. Around
They are not knowing how to, what will happen to them. And on top of it, the provision, food, they require food also, no? For the
exactly,
survival, water and
all sort
food.
of these things are there, but
Yeah.
the intergovernmental people are they are all negotiating with the Chinese
Yes.
people and
Yeah.
Australian people. If
Yeah.
the Australia has to take back and then something they can do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
7 months, why they are keeping it like that? We are not unknowing it.
Yeah.
Our Director General of Shipping and other people, they are all on the this
Authorities.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of unions are there, INSA, MASA, PASMA, everybody, they are doing their own
Yeah.
these things to bring back the crew. So
Yeah.
this is the situation which is a lot of
Mm.
crew is facing.
Mm.
And as a mariner, I'm really very sad feelings we are having.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it should come out from the pandemic situation and
Yeah.
arranging our Selvaraj and Kumaresan sir. Thank you very much for arranging this lecture. I think the marine people, the most of the people must have come to see this one. Thank you so much, Rengaraj. Very thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you,
it
sir.
was a very good
Thank
program,
you.
sir. You enjoyed the program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So we go to the next agenda. Next week's program is a general topic. It's about you and your heart. The Dr. A. Satish Kumar, MD, DM, cardiologist
Okay.
from SRM Group of Medical College and Hospital Research Center is going to deliver. I request
Okay.
all of you to join for the same for the next week, 12th.
Okay,
Now,
sir.
I request our Kannan sir, Honorary Secretary, Tamil Nadu State Center, to propose vote of thanks, sir. Please, sir. Sir, Kumaresan sir, you want to say anything?
No.
Kumaresan sir,
Carry on.
Chairman? Okay, sir. Please. Sir, Kannan, propose vote of thanks, sir.
Great privilege and honor to say thanks to all the people for arranging this lecture. The situation of pandemic situation in the maritime industry. Actually, it is a disaster, like big disaster. We have seen tsunami and other things, but this situation is very, very bad in the maritime industry. But
Unexpected.
unexpected, and of course, otherwise the whole world will come to standstill if there is no ship is sailing. But our
Yes.
seafarers are so courageous. People
Mm.
are, see, even my son is a captain. He is also sailing. Somebody
Yeah.
has pulled him out and from the ship. He is very reluctant to go. His family, we are all not allowing, but they are very distinct situation. So they said, sir, we have to come. And so now in 4.5 months he is sailing.
Okay.
So this is the situation which is for the outside world should know what the sailors are there, what the
But
people.
how they suffer and how are they doing?
No, but sir, normal days itself we are facing cyclone and other things,
Yes.
piracy, so many things are there. But now this pandemic situation is very, very difficult for the sailor to sail.
Mm.
I'm not talking about the officers, but the crew. The crew also, they are facing problems because their earning is only this. The family is living only on this, not like out this. So I thank.
Seafarers, they go out towards hazards. And I went with a great this thing, sincerity and
அண்ணன்
efficiency.
சார்
They
Yes, sir.
overcome all those.
நம்ம ஃப்ரெண்டு மாட்டிக்கிட்டாரு என் கிளாஸ்மேட் மாட்டிட்டு முடிச்சாரு அவரோட நீங்க ஹெல்ப் பண்ணீங்க
நான் ஹெல்ப் பண்ணல சார். நான் ஒரு சின்ன துரும்பு சார்.
ஹெல்ப் பண்ணீங்க நிறைய அந்த சமயத்துல ஒரு இன்ஃபர்மேஷனே கிடைக்காம இருந்தோமே என்ன ஆச்சுன்னு.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. So I thank Kumaresan sir. I thank all the members and Selvaraj, everybody to arrange this lecture. I thank Rengaraju, the chief guest, who has given a valuable lecture for us. And I thank other members who has joined this lecture. And they can tell about what seafarers' life is to others. I think, thank you very much, one and all. Thanks a
We
lot.
need everybody's support also, sir.
Definitely.
Sure, sir. We will all support, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Kumaresan sir, close பண்ணலாமா?
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you all. We can close.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
sir.
Thank you, Kumaresan. Thank you.
2021, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
hope for
wish
a
all
good
happy
year.
New Year to all of us, all of you. Thank you very much. Wish you all and wish